Tuesday, March the, oh, hello, little historians. I didn't see you all come in. I was just writing in my journal. I'm just writing about what's going on this week, what's happening in the world, things like that. If someone were to find this journal 100 years from now, not only would they be looking at my journal, but they would also be looking at a primary source. Have you heard the phrase primary source before? If you haven't, that's what we're going to talk about today. But first, let me tell you who I am. My name is Miss Barker, and I'm a librarian at Westover Hills Elementary School. What's your name? It is really good to be with you here today. It's great to see you. We're going to start talking about primary sources. I'm going to share my screen with you, so let me get that going real quick. So you need a couple of things today for our lesson. First, you need a notebook or paper, and then you need a pen or pencil, something that you're going to write with. There's one thing that you need to know today, and that's what primary source means. What is it when we talk about primary sources? A primary source is something that comes from the time being studied or from the person who was involved in the events being studied. Letters, diaries, and photos are a few examples of primary sources. So if we want to talk about the inauguration of President Obama, then my diary entry when that happened would be a primary source. A photo taken at that inauguration would be a primary source. And I'm going to show you a couple of examples of primary sources here in just a second. Primary sources help give us a peek into the people, time, and places we're learning about. Let me say that again, because I had to move my little picture there real quick. Primary sources help give us a peek into the people, time, and places that we're learning about. Primary sources help us to ask questions too. When we study primary sources and look really closely at primary sources, we start to ask a lot of new and interesting questions. Primary sources also help connect us to things that happened in the past. It's really powerful when we hear a speech given during the time that it happened. If we hear Dr. King give his I Have a Dream speech with his words and his voice, that makes a big difference than if we were just to read about that happening. It's very emotional and makes us feel connected to that event. Did you know that maps are primary sources? Photographs are also primary sources. This is a picture taken sometime between 1918 and 1919, a very long time ago. This is a group of nurses who were stationed at Camp Sherman in Ohio. This is a picture of the nurses in either 1918 or 1919. Did you know that diaries and journals are also primary sources? That's what I was writing earlier. I was writing in my journal. This, what you see on your screen, happens to be a picture of Taylor Swift's journal, an entry that she was writing about. Now, normally we don't want to read people's diaries or journals, right? But Taylor Swift, she knows that this is out there and available for people to see. So this is a primary source. This is what she was experiencing when she was trying to be a famous singer. So that gives us an interesting look into her diary when she was 13 years old. It gives us an interesting look into her life when she was 13 years old. Did you know that statues can also be primary sources? Now, last week, you learned about artifacts. You might know that a statue can also be an artifact. But this statue also tells us about history. It gives us a look into life in 1886 when the United States was given the Statue of Liberty from France. So the Statue of Liberty can also be a primary source when we're studying that part of history. Videos are primary sources too. Let's take a quick look at this video. What did you think about that? Do you know who this is singing? You're right. This is Aretha Franklin. She's singing at President Obama's inauguration in 2009. And that's about 30 seconds of a video that's about an hour and a half. So it's a very tiny piece of that video, but we get to see so much. We get to see familiar faces in the crowd. We get to see how big that crowd was. We get to see how people are dressed and how their expressions are, what they might be feeling. So there's a lot that we get just from that video. There are a lot of questions we can ask just from that very, very small video. Now, we're going to do an activity that involves you using your best eagle eyes. All right, we're going to do a close looking activity. Go ahead and get your paper and pencil ready, just in case there are things we want to write or draw. So get that, and then I'm going to explain how this activity works. First, we are going to watch a video together. What I want you to do is look very closely at the video. And then I want you to write down what you think is happening. But first, look. I'm going to give you time to write when the video is over. Let me get the video up and we'll take a look at this together. All right, are you ready? Here we go.
From the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. This has been a presentation of the Library of Congress. Visit us at loc.gov.
What did you think about that? Go ahead and take a minute to write down what you think is happening. I'm going to time you on my phone. Take about a minute and write down what you think was happening in that video. What did you think? Do you have any idea as to what was going on, what we just saw? Now, we're going to take one more look at that video. I want you to look and see if you can notice anything that you didn't see the first time before. There's a lot going on that you may not have noticed. Go ahead, let's go ahead and take a second look at the video.
From the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. This has been a presentation of the Library of Congress. Visit us at loc.gov.
Did you notice anything that you didn't notice the first time? Could you share what you noticed? I saw the horses too. You're right. There were a lot of people riding bicycles, absolutely. I did not see any cars either. That's a very good observation. Very good eagle eyes there. I did see the ladies' long dresses. I saw those too. And there was someone with an umbrella walking down the sidewalk. Why do you think she was using an umbrella? Maybe to keep the sun off of her? I think you might be right about that. When do you think this video was recorded? When do you think it was filmed? Was it recorded in 2000? No, it wasn't. That's silly. That's silly, Ms. Barker. You're absolutely right. Now, this video was recorded a very long time ago in 1903. That was a very, very long time ago. So go ahead, take a minute to write down all of the new stuff. If you can add those to your notes, anything new that you saw or that we just mentioned that maybe you missed, go ahead and write that down real quick. Excellent. Go ahead and put your pencil down, put your paper down. So what was going on in the video? Yes, there was a postman collecting mail. You're absolutely right. He was taking letters from the mailbox in the video. That was really interesting. And it was really interesting to see all of the stuff going on around him. There were no cars. People were in carriages pulled by horses. Some people were riding bicycles. Absolutely. So this is your homework for today. I've got two things for you. I'm going to tell you today's homework, and then I'm going to tell you Thursday's mission. Your mission for Thursday. All right. First, your homework for today. I want you to work on your own or with someone at your house to think about how mail is collected today. What are some ways mail collection is the same? Is any of it the same? The way we get mail to the post office, the way mail goes to our grandma or cousin who might not live close by? What are some ways mail collection is the same? How is it different? Go ahead and write down or draw your ideas. You can share your ideas with someone that's at home with you, and they might have some extra ideas too that maybe you didn't think about. So that's your homework for today. Your mission for Thursday. We saw the Statue of Liberty. We saw a map. We saw a video of Obama's inauguration. We saw a photograph of some nurses. We saw Taylor Swift's diary, a page from her diary. These are all primary sources. They give us a peek into a person's life or a person's event in history. So we get to see a peek into a person's life or event. Now, it's your turn to share your story or the story of someone in your family. So your mission for Thursday is to share your story or the story of someone in your family. And there are a few different ways to do this. You have a menu, some options, some choices. You can take a picture or draw a picture of something you saw today that you think is important. In a picture or story, you can show or tell what is going on in your neighborhood this week. You can draw and illustrate a map of your house. You can write a poem or a story about something that you have done. Or you can talk to someone older in your family. You can call them if they don't live with you and have them tell you about something they remember when they were your age. You can write that down. You can use a voice recorder on a phone if there's a phone that you can use. So you have a lot of different choices to share your story or the story of someone in your family. That is your mission for Thursday. Now, when Thursday gets here and you have forgotten what you're supposed to do, you can always come back and look at this video, okay? This video will be here for you to look at if you need to remember what you're supposed to do. I hope that you accept your mission with enthusiasm and excitement and curiosity, and I hope you have a great time completing your mission. It has been a joy to be here with you today. I will see you very soon.